Peace everyone, Unmasked here and welcome back once again to the Drawing Journal. Alright, so I think we have probably a few new people to the channel from Inktober, because this is the first drawing journal that I've done since Inktober. I can't believe Inktober's over. We got through it. Had lots of fun. And we're going to kind of continue a little bit of the theme of Inktober because we're going to be playing with some inks today. I have the Daler Rowney set of acrylic inks, and I'm going to be playing around with these a little bit and showing you how they work and just experimenting with this sketch that I did. Real quick, the sketchbook that I'm working on is, I always forget the name of it. It's a Zeta series sketchbook, mixed media by Stillman Birn, and the paper is really nice. I've experimented a tiny bit. Here's one piece. I kind of played around with the inks a little bit. As you can see, it's smooth, which is nice. That's, you know, you want your paper to remain smooth when you're using ink or watercolors or something like this. I imagine this sketchbook would be pretty nice to play around with watercolors too. And I got pretty wet with my ink here. I added lots of water, and it didn't bleed through. It worked fairly well. So I'm confident that today will go pretty well also. Hello Gihan, Stephanie, Coffee Cat, Carmen, Takeo, and Chrissy. Welcome to the Drawing Journal, the first Drawing Journal post Inktober. Now, one of the other sketches that I kind of played around with was this here, and I did this in colored pencils, and the goal was to take kind of the anime manga style work and apply a little bit of realistic coloring to it. Now this was just a quick sketch, so it's not flawlessly colored or anything, but it just kind of gave me this idea to play around with those two almost contrasting styles or thought processes, and that's what I'm going to go for on this, but instead I'm going to be using ink. And my strategy here is just to just try it out a little bit. I got all the primary colors and a couple extra. I'm going to start with a little bit of blue and green, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the background first. I'm just going to put her in like a light blue background, and then start filling in the colors on her. Hello Elise and Andrea, Teresa, Ephigenia. Thank you guys for coming to the live streams. I hope that you've been missing the live streams as much as I have been. I was really looking forward to streaming today for sure, because I've been missing the daily live streams of Inktober with all of you lovely people. I have a scrap piece of paper here that I pulled out of the same sketchbook, and I'm gonna use this to test my colors because I'm still very new with these inks. You can see how that's much more green than what I wanted, so I'm gonna have to add a bit more blue. But I really like the vibrancy that you get from these inks. Now, a few of the comments that I've come across from people talking about acrylic inks in comparison to regular watercolors is that they say that the acrylic inks tend to have a bit more vibrancy to them, and I can attest to that a little bit because I think the vibrancy of these inks are really nice. It's just about getting the correct mixture between water and the ink. So it's just it feels like you're a chemist over here dripping a tiny bit of each color into my little my little color palette thing that I usually use for acrylic painting, but as you can see, I'm using it for inks. Now that's the color, that's kind of the color blue that I want. Maybe a little bit more blue in it. I think maybe another drop will do. I'm gonna do 2 though. I'm gonna risk it and go with 2 drops. And it's crazy how just a single drop of this ink drastically changes the colors, and you really have to use like a whole bunch of water to get lighter colors. Okay, that's a little bit closer to what I'm trying to reach for with this ink. So I'm going to take a little bit of this mixture and create some lighter color of that by adding just a bit more water. Let's see how that works. Because just like watercolors, you kind of have to work with your lighter tones first, and then you can do your darks right over top of it. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with that. It's going to lighten up as it dries, so I don't want to add too much water to it. Let's see, can we see the ink brand? Yes, it's the Daler Rowney. I also have all the lists of the supplies in the description, so if you want to know how to spell it or whatever, yeah, I have the list of supplies in the description. All right, let's go ahead and start filling in this background a little bit. Get our character popping off the page. Just gonna trace around her essentially. Now this is just a sketch that I did yesterday evening, actually, or it was Saturday evening. So it was this past Saturday, and I really had no idea what I was sketching for. I just was in the mood. I was sitting here, and I was like, I'm just gonna sketch something out. I almost colored it as well, but I decided, you know what, maybe it would be kind of fun to do this for the drawing journal. So I just left it. I did the sketch and then kind of left it alone. Now I'm actually just going to dip my brush in a bit of water and try to spread this out, spread the pigment out while also getting it a little lighter. That's one of the things that I've come across in messing around with these inks, is that you can just take some water and blend it out even after it appears to be a little dry. You can kind of lift it up, almost erase it in a sense. You've been missing the family, yeah. Well, if you're not already, I think you're already in the Facebook group. But if you're not already, the Facebook group is thriving, and we've got a lot of lovely people in the Facebook group. I also have the link to that in the description. If you want to join the Unmask Art family on Facebook, post some work, get some insight. We also have some reference photos that a few of you lovely people have been uploading. Speaking of which, we started a document so that we can kind of keep those reference photos organized well for everyone. So if you happen to be one of those individuals that uploaded reference photos, be sure to add it to the document so that everyone can find it. And if you're not sure how to do that, just ask. These look like they could be fun as an underpainting for colored pencils. Yeah, absolutely. I think that they would be really good for such a thing, for underpainting. If you don't want to take the time to do a lot of detail in them, then I think they would probably be a fairly useful medium to incorporate a little bit in your colored pencil stuff to get that underpainting done a little bit quicker, because they're really thin, and because of that, I think that layering colored pencils over top of them would probably work really, really well. I mean, a lot of people already do watercolors as an for like underpaintings and things like that with colored pencils. So I imagine that these inks would be just as good, if not better. Make sure you're using a nice heavy paper. I haven't tested this on too many types of paper yet, but I'll try like the vellum paper that I usually use for colored pencils. I can try that, and then like the Strathmore Bristol paper as well. Could try it there. Also the Strathmore toned tan. I'm gonna have to try these on that paper because I really like that paper. And strangely, I've noticed that even though the Strathmore toned tan paper is very, very thin, it seems to accept like a wet medium quite nicely, including markers. It's also great for markers. I've really doused the pages with markers and even like odorless mineral spirits to blend out colored pencils, and it just keeps on straightening itself out. It gets wrinkly while it's wet, but then when it dries, it stays straight. I don't know what kind of sorcery magic they put on that paper to make it do that, but you don't usually get that with the thinner papers. Usually you have to kind of deal with the wrinkliness, and it stays wrinkly, but the Strathmore tanned tone paper tends to straighten itself out even when it's really wet. All right. Now I got her nice and outlined. I can just kind of freely add a bit more of this, and I'm going to do it kind of loosely so it's just has a little bit of a style to it in the background. And I'm going to add the darker shade that we made as well. So I'm just kind of scribbling this on there. See what kind of effect it makes when it dries. Oh, hello, Linda. Let's see, anyone else still inking? My Inktober sketchbook is about 10 pages left, so I'm inking in watercolor, so everything looks the same. Cool, yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with continuing your Inktober pieces even after the fact. Oh, hello, Steve. Good, glad to see you. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, tag me in it, and I'll try to ask. And for the drawing journal, I know a lot of you probably came across my channel during Inktober, and for that reason, you're probably a little unfamiliar as to what the drawing journal is all about. But essentially, the drawing journal is something that I started a couple years ago, where originally it wasn't live streamed, for one. I would just kind of talk about things and just whatever was going on in my life. During the time that I started it, I was still a college student, so I'd complain about school and homework and stuff. But as things evolved, I just turned into kind of a personal thing that I liked to do. Get some of these darker colors now. So you can ask me all kinds of questions. They don't even need to necessarily be art related. So yeah, feel free to ask me anything. They're essentially weekly ask me anythings, because I'll just randomly talk about stuff pretty similar to how Inktober went. Essentially, it's just an Inktober stream with total random drawings and projects. I guess this one's a little influenced by Inktober since I'm still playing with ink. Let's see. Hello, Christine. I've used gouache on tan tone paper too. Works well. Yeah, yeah. I imagine that it would. Yeah, I really like that tanned tone paper. It's one of my all-time favorites for sure. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. I'm trying to keep everything loose here because I want to kind of approach that style just a little bit. I'm gonna add a bit more blue into this darker darker shade, and yeah, we'll see where this takes us with a little bit more blue in it. Yeah, that's nice there. Kind of outline my character a bit more. What am I up to? So I have Polish class tonight, and so that's why I'm streaming this a little bit earlier than I really want to. I would like to stream this an hour later than what I am. That way it just gives a few more people a chance to come in. I know it's quite early still in the US, so I like to stream a little bit later, but I was really uncertain as to how long I would be streaming today, so I didn't want to feel rushed or anything like that. So I decided to just bump it up an hour, give myself a little bit more time to goof off with all of you, and see what happens. All right, let's see. I think the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take a bit of this color and add even more water. Essentially just make it super, super light. And see how light this will be. I'm going to clean out my brush a little bit though. I'm going to make her shirt here this same color, but I want it to be like just absolutely light blue, as light as I can really get it. Because I'm going to do kind of a floral design over top of it. But I want the base of the shirt to kind of have this lightish blue color that matches the background. Looks like the model in number 2 from your selection of photos. No, it's yeah, I guess you could say that the shoulders are similar, but they're switched. But it's not her. Yeah, I'm still I spent most of the morning looking at reference photos, looking at portraits of people to consider drawing for my portrait colored pencil course that I'll hopefully be starting by the end of this month. I really want to get it out before the end of the year, and then I'll just have, a wide open book of things to do for next year. So I'm hoping to get it done before the end of the year. I think it would be really cool. Do I have any art goals or dreams you're aiming for? Sorry if you answered this before. You mentioned a personal goal of talking to your mother-in-law, yeah. Yeah, I have. I think, well, for me, my personal goal in art is to just be able to continue doing it full time, independently. If you were around in my live streams earlier this year, you would know that I was coming up on a specific deadline for this past August, and that deadline was, well, it was to get to be making at least $300 a month over on Patreon, because if I was making that amount, it would justify continuing on and trying to do this for one more year. So I met that goal a few months early. It fluctuated quite a bit. Patreon always fluctuates, which makes it a little bit volatile for an income. But for the most part, it worked out good. And then I have a similar goal that is due by next August, September timeframe. I suppose I'll be a little lenient on it because honestly I'm kind of concerned as whether or not I'll actually get it. And that is to be making $1,000 a month on Patreon. By this time next year, I need to be making $1,000 on Patreon a month in order to justify continuing to do this. Because as many of you know, I have my degree in math, and I could easily just go get a job being a math teacher, and I would be able to make a comfortable income. Whereas right now, as an artist, it's not exactly what I would call comfort, because it is volatile. It goes up and down because I have new people that pledge on Patreon, and I have people that leave, and I have no control over that. And so I have to do my best to grow my business, and I'm making courses now, and that's why I think that I'll be a little bit lenient depending on how my courses continue to sell and how I'm able to continue putting them out there. So there's a lot of variability in it, but that's my goal. My goal is to get there by this time next year. So I think I came across this one motivational video. I think it was motivational. I don't know. It gave me an idea, and what it was think about where you want to be or what you want to be doing in 5 years, and work backwards, as in what would you be doing right before you obtain that goal, and then what would you be doing right before you get to the part where you're right before obtaining that goal, and then you continue to take your the steps backwards to figure out the path that you would need to start taking right now in order to get to that goal. And you know what I'd kind of really love to do? I'd kind of like to steal the format a bit modified. Steal the format a little bit of what Bob Ross did. He didn't live stream, but he sat down, he explained things, he painted a picture in 30 minutes or whatever, and just hung out with people, and people fell in love with him. I want to do something. I would like, in 5 years, I would like to have a studio where I could create something, I could live stream it to you guys, we could just hang out, create, and it would be a full production. Like, it would be different camera angles so you guys can see how I'm mixing my colors, or what pencils I'm using, and I'd have like maybe 1 or 2 people helping me produce such a thing, and I could do something like once a week or once every other week or something like that, something that doesn't drain me entirely. If I were to do something once a week, it might get a little heavy, but if I had more people helping me produce such a thing. I think that bringing back that kind of style, that kind of I don't know, that kind of show, I think that'd be really good. And my live streams are kind of like that in a sense, but I just have this camera looking at me and this one camera facing down at the artwork. Being a bit more involved with different angles and just a better production, I guess. I think that would be kind of cool, and I'm spitting all over my artwork. Typical me, spitting all over the artwork. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of a thought in my mind. You guys will have to give me your input on what you think of my thought, but it's not something I'm set to doing. It's just something that I had thought of and kind of liked the idea. But because his shows were, pre-recorded and produced and then put on TV, but I think that it would be kind of cool since, technology is a lot different than that time, would be doing essentially his format, but in a live version, and doing that like, once every other week or something along those lines. I need to get my next color here, and it needs to be kind of a light gray brown. I don't think that's light enough, so I'm going to add some water to it. Alright, let's see where we're at here. I think that's good. I kind of want, no, I'll keep it that. I was thinking about adding another drop of brown to it. I'm gonna just brush in her hair lightly with this color. It's essentially just gonna look kind of like a dirty gray, but this is gonna be her lightest color. Essentially the highlights. I do have a pen here, a white gel pen, just to add in any other kind of things. I'm going to work around my graphite lines a little bit, try to keep the style of her hair. I totally did not do this intentionally, but she kind of looks like Elsa right now, and that was not at all the intention. I don't even like the Frozen movie, so I would never in a million years draw the characters from it. But I'm seeing a very, very strong resemblance, and it was entirely unintentional. Especially with this blue. This blue is like exact color, and I did not do that on purpose at all. I mean, the side braid thing, that movie definitely made extremely popular, but that is not what influenced this drawing at all. I don't even think it influenced it subconsciously, because I really don't like that movie. Yeah, great idea. Different camera angles are cool. Split screen, even watch you, tight shots on artwork, close-ups. Yeah, that's what I think would be really, really cool. Okay, Taiko, you take care. Have a nice day. Do a GoFundMe and set up a studio. Yeah, I don't think I'm there yet. I think that I'd have to really grow my audience much, much wider than what it is now. And to be honest with you, it has been an immensely daunting task to try to figure out what to do to help grow my channel. I feel like I'm doing just about everything that I can, and not to sound conspiratorial, but it just feels like YouTube is trying to block me at every path that I try to take, because they keep when I upload a video, they demonetize it right away, and it takes like a day for it to be remonetized, and I don't understand what it could possibly be about my channel in particular that they would demonetize it. But so it stunts the growth of any new video that I upload, and it's been happening more and more recently. And I would love to just be like, I would love to just ask all of you to, share my video, and everybody do it and it be beneficial, because I know, there's a few people that will share my video or whatever, and then they'll like share it on Facebook or Twitter or something, but they don't have a large following or anything like that. And it doesn't actually get seen by anybody. So that's kind of the trouble that I have, or I feel like I have, is that, I don't have the reach. I just don't have the reach to compensate for YouTube's algorithm kind of stopping me from growing. And what has been really disappointing the past month, I live streamed every day for Inktober. I live streamed a total of 53 and a half hours, and all of my YouTube statistics basically took a nosedive. My views were down, my subscribers were down, everything about my channel was going negative throughout the entire month of Inktober. You would think that because I'm uploading or live streaming every day and producing hours and hours of content, that it would have been a bit more beneficial to my channel. And aside from it being really fun and gaining a few really lovely subscribers since they found me through Inktober, that's all that I got through Inktober. It was tough to get through, to be honest with you, because putting in all that work and then basically getting blocked by YouTube was frustrating. Not very many. There was only a few of my live streams that got demonetized during Inktober, but and they got remonetized, shortly, a day or two after. But gosh, everything stopped for my channel. My channel essentially stopped growing during the month of Inktober, and I just couldn't figure out why. I thought that my participation in Inktober would have been one of the best things I've ever done for my channel, but it ended up, it was a lot of fun, but as far as being beneficial to the growth of my channel, it was the complete opposite of what I imagined. Sorry if I missed anything. What is acrylic ink? So it's just a water-based ink. It's just these bottles of water-based ink, and so it's nothing like fancy. What it sounds fancy, but essentially it's just water-based ink. Some inks are alcohol based, so they dry real quick, and most most pens are alcohol-based ink, where they like dry on contact, basically. All right, so this is just the base coat of her hair. This isn't actually the color. I'll go in with more rich browns and things like that in just a moment. I think I'm gonna leave her hair like that for now. Let's do some work on her eyes. I'm actually gonna use this same brown here for a bit of her eyes. Let me zoom in for you guys. Any hints and clues about why your videos are getting demonetized? Yeah, I actually have no idea. Really appreciate your commitment to art and us. Well, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I really love doing it. Like, I genuinely wake up and look forward to streaming and hanging out with you guys, because it's like just the most fun that I have on a regular basis. And so I'm glad that you guys enjoy it and appreciate it, because honestly, if you didn't, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably just try to keep doing it until I find people that appreciate it. So I'm glad that I've already found that in you guys. Their eyes are probably going to look a little strange until I fill in the skin. But I'm trying to give them a bit of dimension. Let's see. I didn't used to be this way with YouTube before. People were able to express their own ways, being creative in many ways before the entire Google thing happened. Yeah, I think with the implementation of like their new algorithm for videos and whatnot, has been a real hindrance to just any channel that's trying to grow. I didn't really care much because it didn't seem to affect me for the longest time, but now it really feels like it's affecting everybody except like the kind of left-leaning large channels. I don't know. It's just I wish I had a better explanation, but I hope that the growing pains kind of go away. But for now, they're here, and it's a little painful. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe the feeling. I always forget this word too. It's a very common word I forget on my channel. Discouraging. It's so discouraging to be stuck and feel like there's just no room for growth. Because I just, I do the best that I can. I really try to anyway. What is the advantage of ink over watercolors for the background? Well, Steve, I can't really say that there's a strong advantage between choosing one or the other. The only difference that I've come across based on comparison videos that other artists have done between the acrylic inks and watercolors is that the acrylic inks tend to be more vibrant. I haven't experimented with watercolors yet, so I can't say for sure what the difference is, but I can say that these colors are really vibrant and I do really, really like them. They're really great looking. And I put a ton of water in this teal color, just a whole bunch of water. And even the lighter parts of that teal is very vibrant. So they tend to look really, really good. Yeah, I hope that for the rest of the next year, I don't know. I hope that I get lucky. That's all I can really hope for. I'm gonna be not necessarily changing directions with my channel, but I am going to be doing a few things differently for the sake of trying something new, because if I keep doing what I'm doing on my channel, I don't think I'm ever going to get lucky. So I just need YouTube to take notice of me one time. Well, just one of my videos. That's all I ask for. I'm hoping. I was really hoping that the way that I filmed and edited my Inktober sketchbook tour. I don't know if everyone at the live stream saw that one that video that I posted, but I'm hoping that that video not necessarily goes viral. I don't think it's going to, but I just hope that enough people see it and share it that it gets noticed a little bit, just a little bit. But that's the video. That's the video that got demonetized the day that I uploaded it. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I guess I'll have to try another video and see if I can get that video to get me somewhere, because that's where I'm at this point. With every video I upload, I cross my fingers that YouTube doesn't demonetize it, and then I cross my fingers that in some miracle it will be the video. I'm waiting for that one video that gets 500,000 views or something, that for some reason people just want to watch, and people start searching for it, or it gets shared by the right people on Facebook and Twitter or Reddit or something along those lines. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. Because I've started researching for the past couple weeks now. I've been researching tags and kind of search engine optimization stuff to try to place my videos in the right spot, whether it's the title or the tags that I put in or what I say in the description, anything. I'm doing everything I can to for each video to be the video, yeah, just waiting to get lucky, I guess. Take a little bit of black ink. Watercolors probably better as they are more movable and don't dry quick. Acrylic is more streaky in large areas, but watercolors can cauliflower, both beautiful. How is my search engine optimization, and do you use tags on the YouTube videos? Few of you probably know her, but Leontine, she gave me some insight and this tool called TubeBuddy, and it lets you search kind of like what's trending on YouTube as far as tags and video titles and that kind of thing. And so I started using that a few weeks ago, and I've just been, researching kind of what tags are going to be useful to put in my videos, and how to title my video to make it a little bit more optimized for YouTube's search engine. For instance, this video here, it took me like an hour to schedule this live stream because I was doing all this this research to figure out, okay, what should I title this video? What tags should I put for this live stream? And also for the Inktober sketchbook tour video that I did, I spent like an hour researching all of that stuff just to make that video public, and in any hopes that that video will become popular, because there's this YouTuber called Lethal Chris or something along those lines, and last year his Inktober sketchbook tour went viral, or whatever you could say. It was one of his really popular videos. It got 500,000 views on it, and I was like, well, maybe this year I'll be the lucky one. Of course, as soon as I uploaded it and it got demonetized, I realized, okay, maybe I'm not going to be the lucky one. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm up against at this point. What kind of brush am I using for the fine detail of the eyes? I'm using this Kolibri Golden Sable No. 2 brush. There's nothing fancy about this brush. It's just a No. 2 round brush, and I'm just being really delicate with the tip. Yeah, I hope that I'm not coming off as like whiny or ranty or anything. I'm just trying to answer you guys' questions as honestly as I can, because it's just what I feel like right now. I feel like I'm putting in the right amount of effort, and I'm just not sure what else it takes for my channel to be successful. I don't know. I think I may have overstressed myself a little bit about it, because I am trying to make this kind of like my lifetime career, and I know that it takes a lot, but I've also put in a lot of effort. I have twice as many videos as most people. My production value is better than 90% of other artists on YouTube. And I won't say that my artwork is better. I mean, I would say that my artwork is acceptable for the most part. Good enough. I think good enough is probably the right way to describe it. Just don't know. I'm just lost at this point. Just a little bit lost. I don't think I meant to do that. Let's see. Are you going for an anime style? Yes, I am. You said you have a math degree. What made you decide on taking one? Were you always a genius at math? Yes. Math was just one of the subjects that I really liked, and it was something that came really easy to me. Though when you get up into upper levels of math, it immediately starts not being easy, which I found the most fun about it. And I really like the logical and algorithmic approaches to solving math problems. I feel like that kind of mindset is very beneficial to have, and that's the way that I approach my artwork. Actually, I approach it very linearly, and I plan things out, and I do things the way when I'm creating the techniques that I use to color and to draw and things like that. I do it very algorithmically, and yeah, so I don't know, it's just a subject that I've always liked, and it fascinates me that the universe can be described mathematically, and it just, some of the eloquent equations that the universe are governed by, I don't know, everything about it just makes me think, and I like that about math. Oh, hello, Leontine. Leontine. I was just mentioning you a little bit a few minutes ago, because I was talking about what I've been doing with my search engine optimization using the Tube Buddy that you introduced me to, and yeah, just complaining a little bit about YouTube constantly demonetizing all of my videos for no reason. But yeah, that and playing around with some inks. Hello, Hilda. Alright, let's see here. I think I'm going to move on to the skin. And this is not going to be easy. I need to mix quite a bit here. I'm going to start with a drop of yellow. I'm going to do a drop of orange. And a drop of brown. This is going to take so much water to dilute into a light skin tone. So I'm just going to add a whole bunch of water to this and see what it looks like. I'm running out of space here on my little color palette thingy. I guess I didn't really take that into account. This is going to be way too orange. Oh, actually it's not. That's surprisingly not very orange. It looks super dirty orange on my color thingy. I need to see how light that dries, because if it's too dark, I'm gonna have to add a whole bunch of water. Oh, your videos have been getting demonetized as well. I'm sorry to hear that. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. it doesn't make any sense why videos of drawing stuff would ever be deemed unsuitable for advertising. Just it baffles me to death. But it I guess in a way it's kind of comforting to know that I'm not being singled out in a way. But I hate the idea that it's happening to you as well. Okay, I gotta sit here and wait for this paper to dry. I think that this is going to be probably kind of close to what I need, but it looks so much darker because the paper is wet. So I'm going to give that a second, try to catch up with the chat. I think a few of your videos got demonetized for showing full breast. No, none of those videos are actually demonetized. Yeah, the videos where I drew a figure or anything like that, no, none of those. I didn't have any problems with those. Alright, I think that is actually pretty close to what I want. I might even go a little bit lighter. So I like that color though. It's just about right where I want. I'm gonna add just a few more drops of water. Alright. And let's just start on her face, I guess. Still new to working with this really wet medium. Getting it to go on smooth can be a bit of a challenge. But I found that if you keep your brush just a little bit damp, you can actually continue to blend out any of the edges that you kind of accidentally make with it, which I really like. All right. There we go, that's not bad. Let's see. Don't you have to have millions of views to make any money on YouTube now anyway? Like, how many views does monetization make a difference? Well, I'm the wrong person to ask about that because I don't make enough. I don't get very many views at all on YouTube. Really, for me, YouTube is just a way to create an audience. The most that I've ever made in a month on YouTube through monetization is like $30. So yeah, I can't make a living off of that ever, and I don't think that I will ever really make a living off of YouTube. But I use YouTube to continue building my audience, to bring them to my Patreon page and to take them to my website to like buy my courses, my colored pencil course or my pastel course. So that's what I use YouTube for right now. And you know, maybe one day I'll start getting enough views to really be concerned about monetization on YouTube. But for now, I'm nowhere close. It's so far from my mind to think about YouTube as being the way that I make money. YouTube is yeah, it's not even on my list. It would be nice. It would be nice to have YouTube views as the way that I make money, because then I could stop using Patreon. Honestly, if I had the option and I was getting like, you know, if I uploaded a video and it always got like a 500,000 views, then most likely I would be able to afford living off of AdSense on YouTube. And if that were the case, then I most likely would do everything that I do on Patreon right on YouTube anyway. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. That's just me thinking realistically. Because the content that I produce on Patreon, I don't think would ever be the kind of content that gets that kind of attention. You know, live streaming for 2 hours working on a portrait or whatnot. So I think Patreon might be the only option for the kind of content that I create. But then again, you know, that idea that I was talking about earlier, kind of like the possible of a 5-year plan of having my own studio and producing live stream episodes of you know, painting, drawing, whatever that, kind of just teaching with a production crew to help, you know, make the content more enjoyable. All right. I'm just gonna grab my darker skin tone color, my slightly darker skin tone color. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Yeah, I see it, Elise. I see it. Why not Twitch? Maybe it's a good option for you. You know, I've had a few people kind of recommend a little bit doing Twitch, and I have considered it, but I produce all of my content on YouTube. I'm used to doing YouTube, and my audience is on YouTube. And I feel like if I go over to Twitch, it's gonna feel a lot like starting over, because I'm gonna have to convince everybody here on YouTube to go over to a different platform to start watching me, and it feels like going backwards. And Twitch, I feel is geared a little bit more towards gaming, and it has that kind of audience and influence that I don't know if it would be a good choice for me. But I have considered it. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to, though. Because that is strictly just a live stream website, and the videos that I would live stream, they would be taken. They're deleted after a certain amount of time. They don't stay up there for people to watch, which would totally defeat the purpose of what I create, because a lot of what I live stream is tutorial based, and if I were to live stream like a pastel tutorial or a colored pencil tutorial or anything of that nature, it would only last for a little bit, and then, you know, nobody would be able to watch it anymore, and it totally defeats the purpose of doing the live stream in the first place for the type of content that I create. Oh, hello, Renata. The content I create is exactly what many are looking for. It confounds me as it does you just why your videos haven't exploded on the viewing count. Just stream on both, then you just continue to focus on YouTube. Yeah, I thought about figuring out how to set that up where when I stream, I'm streaming both to Twitch and YouTube. But goodness, I feel already stretched very thin with everything that I'm trying to keep up with that I do. That I don't know if I have the time to figure that out right now. Just gosh, I always no matter how much I try to get ahead with everything that I'm doing, I constantly feel like I'm behind with work and trying to make all of this, trying to figure out all this stuff. It makes me it's stuff like that that makes me just not want to add one more thing that has no guarantee of being beneficial to what I'm already trying to work out. Oh, you just set it up from Restream? You're gonna make me look into doing it now. I briefly looked into it for like a day, and then I couldn't. I just didn't find anything that spelled it out as easily as I wanted it spelled out to me. So I focused on other things. This medium takes a little bit longer than what I was anticipating. I don't know what I was anticipating. I had no plans. I just wanted to stream and hang out with everybody. That was my plan. That was the extent of my planning for today. I did see some good live stuff on Twitch with Mark Criley. Oh yeah? You're definitely not the only one feeling that way. There's so much to do, so many options, and so many ways things can go wrong. Yeah, it's tiring. It's really tiring. It's really, really tiring. At least it has been for me the past few weeks for sure. Gosh, I have no idea how this this picture here is going to turn out. I'm just making it up. I want to get some depth in the skin tone here. If you're curious as to why I'm putting this all over the place, I'm planning on going a bit darker with the skin in the shadows. So I'm trying to spread this color out. In the first initial color was just the highlight color. You know, still trying to figure this medium out. But I can take some water on my brush and do a little bit of blending. Once I have that edge, I can kind of remove it a little bit. At least that's what I found on the previous attempt. Don't cut your biscuit in too many pieces. Do what you do and love what you do. Yeah. Yeah, I have to. I think I've already. In a lot of ways, I feel like I've already chopped my biscuit up into way too many pieces. That is sometimes I just feel unnecessarily stressed out by everything, and it's during those moments where I stop and think, okay, I'm trying to do something a bit difficult here, making a living off of making artwork, and so maybe I should cut myself a little bit of slack, because so far in many ways I've already been successful, and I guess it's just getting to the next level of what I deemed to be successful, because my current level of success is enough to continue doing what I'm doing, but not enough to fully justify continue doing it. When I have stronger options as far as being a math teacher, those are much more promising career options at the moment, but I'd like them not to be. I'd like the art to work out for me. But I can't be disappointed in myself if it doesn't, because I've literally done everything that I can possibly do as far as the amount of effort that I've put in. Nobody would be able to say that I didn't try my best, that I didn't put in enough effort, because that would be just an absolute lie. All right, let's see here. I think I need a bit more brown in the skin. I think this is brown. What is this color? Yeah, that's brown. So I think I'll take this color, add it there. Let's see what this color looks like. That's pretty close. It's good enough. Let's see, what else did I see? I used these inks on my slug nugget picture using drafting film. I think they didn't work and made it blotchy. Watercolors and pencils worked well, then I added the ink and it went weird. Oh no, I forget where I made this color. I think it was here. I gotta check. That doesn't look right. Was it here? Yeah. It was here. I think this is going to be just a looser piece. I think I'm just going to have to claim that I'm going for a real loose look here. Her hair is a little flat at the moment, but once I get in there with some darker colors, I think it might start to look a bit better. Love how the piece is going so far. Oh, okay. Well, that's comforting. That's much more comforting. Thank you for that. I'm not quite sure how to do the nose, to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to give her nostrils on the side and see how I like that. Just see what comes out of it. Because I'm going for a little bit more realistic tones, and probably, honestly, this is probably the worst idea in the world, because I don't quite know this medium as well. So hopefully I don't make it look too terrible. Let's give her some subtle lips. Probably even go darker in some spots with this brown. Don't really know. Let's see. It's like your first time with soft pastels all over again. Yeah, pretty much. The first time is always a little bit of a disaster, you know, a little bit of a learning curve here, but it's all about having fun anyway. I don't really care whether this piece comes out. I want to get comfortable. I want to get comfortable just messing things up. Anytime I try a new medium or something along those lines, I just want to mess up. That's the fastest way to learn. If you play it safe every time, then I don't think you're ever going to create something amazing. If you risk messing it up, then you also risk the possibility of making something great. So I'm just putting the paint, the ink down. So if it comes out looking atrocious, that's fine. That's fine by me. I want to be bold with my colors, trying out on the skin here. I just want to see if I can get it to work. These acrylic inks or Winsor & Newton normal inks are a bit magic. If you mix them with white gouache, you get vibrant pastels. Oh, interesting. Good for flat coloring and highlights. A good go for pastel gore. Fear or failure stays many a hand. Mostly mine. Oh, hello, Julie. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't completely miss it either. It's getting a little late for this this stream here. Don't know how much longer I'll be able to hold on. I still have a ton that I want to do for this piece here, but I don't think that I'm going to really get to make anything as nice as I was hoping to make it. I originally was going to title the video, kind of going back to that discussion about SEO and researching video titles and tags and all that super boring stuff. I originally was going to title this Experimenting with Acrylic Inks because that's what it felt like it was going to be closer to, but YouTube didn't like that title, so I titled it what I titled it because of the YouTube algorithm. Of course, I'm sure this video is probably already demonetized, so I have that to look forward to once I'm finished streaming here. Alright, let's do some finger detail here. Try to get her hand looking like a hand. Probably using the wrong brush to do this since the detail is so small, but with a steady hand you can use a larger brush. This looks so bad. She needs some blushies. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll try to go even darker with another drop of brown. Or 3 drops, whatever works. I'm gonna grab my detail brush. I'm gonna come in here and try to make the features stand out a little bit better. Might even need to go darker with this brown. Maybe not. It's a little bit harder to control when it's a puddle of water on the paper. Gotta wait for it to dry a little bit and then stretch it out. stretch the ink out. I'm hoping I can use a little bit of water to kind of reactivate the ink in a few areas, and then hopefully do a bit more blending. That will help soften up the features a little bit better. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, let's see here. Outline her chin a little bit. Zoom out a little bit. I just realized another function for blushies. If you intend to use them, it forces you to visualize and construct the cheeks. Yeah. I'll give her a little bit of red in her cheeks. Just kind of laying down the base colors a bit. But it seems to be not quite the effect that I was hoping for. It's a bit looser than what I initially expected with these inks. Still working on the blending of what or how really to get a smoother blend between colors. I think I may have went a little too quick. Not that I was really rushing or anything, it's just kind of rushing through my colors, I guess, a bit faster than I probably should have. If I can just smooth out the gradients between one color and the next, I think I can actually get this to look halfway decent. It's more important on her face, I think. So if I can get it looking okay on her face, then I might have a chance to salvage this piece a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to start reapplying my really light color, because as the paper dries, everything starts to get lighter, and it looks worse when it's still wet. Let me just grab this color. I'm just gonna come in here and start trying to feather out where I added those colors, and hopefully I can get some kind of smoothing effect between the colors. This is going to make everything look much darker, but in reality this is the lightest color that I have on her. So I'm hoping I can use it to smooth out some of the brush texture that I'm getting here, because that's what I'm struggling with the most. Getting rid of that texture. Don't know about having a gap between her boobs. It can make them look like fake boobs. I think not having a gap makes them look more fake. At this point, whether she has real or fake ones is probably the least concerning factor of this piece right now. I'm trying to do anything I can to smooth it out, salvage the look of what is going on here. I'm just hoping that a few layers of this lighter color will give me a bit more of a blended look in all the colors. Because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I hope that's been obvious. At the very least, I hope it's been obvious that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna add some more orange. What the heck? Let's just throw it on there and see what happens. See if I can get something to look at. Something worth looking at. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get the smooth look that I somewhat anticipated. I kind of imagined that I was going to get something smoother looking, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. So let me try. I'm gonna take some of this brown, add it to the tops of her eyes, make her eyes a little bit more three-dimensional, at least get her eyes looking halfway decent. I think that should be a possibility. She went from plastic surgeon. She went to a plastic surgeon. Yeah, I think it is about the layers with the ink. You know, it's something. It's something. I want to use a pen. I'm going to use a pen for her eyes. I'm going to take a black pen first. Create nice contrast for her eyelashes here. And hopefully get something in this picture has to look somewhat decent. So I'm going to try to focus on her eyes a little bit and see if I can't get them to look worthy of a look. there. I think that looks a little bit better for this picture overall. At least her eyes are kind of worth looking at. Let's grab some brown and start coloring in her hair a bit. I'm going to do a few drops of brown and a drop of red. Let's see, is this red? That looks pink. That's more orange. Okay, I'm just going to go with this. It's kind of a bright red, super bright red. All right, let's mix this up. Let's check our color here. Yeah, that's good enough for me. I'm just gonna try to shape her hair a little bit. Maybe once I put in some of her hair, it won't look as bad. Let's hope. Let's hope for the best here. It's a nice brown color. Let's see what it looks like when it dries, though. It kind of has a little bit of a fade. A little bit of a faded brown, not as rich as I thought it was going to be. That must be because I mixed it in with a whole bunch of water, stuff that was already mixed, I mean, that had a bunch of water in it. If you're not happy with it, why not try some colored pencil on top to see how you like it? Yeah, I might actually do that later. I'm not going to do it on the live stream. Maybe I'll save that for the next drawing journal. I'll try fixing this disaster here. Regardless, it's been a fun experiment, that's for sure. It's been interesting, to say the least. Try to get some kind of texture here in her hair before calling it a day. Should probably start using a smaller brush too. Add some more brown to my ink here. Get a darker, more rich brown color. So I start building up the layers and the contrast. I feel a little bit in a rush right now. So I'm not expecting the best results at this point. Let's see, I think I have a little bit of dark black here. Let me just put in some of that right here. All right, let's see. What can I do? What can I do to make this not look hideous? I wonder what this brown here looks like. Yeah, that's a little bit lighter. I think I'll just add some of that. Try to create the transition between her highlights and the rest of the hair a little bit. To be honest, I think it's coming along nicely for the first time. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not gonna form an opinion on it. I guess it's okay. It was all just a test anyway. If I could find a way to smooth out the skin, then I think I could really get this medium to work for me. Let's see here. I'm gonna take a bit more brown, and I'm just gonna go straight brown. I probably did not need that much, but whatever. Use my thinner brush. Try to add some finer details to the hair. Let's see. Yeah, I think that kind of sets the hair off a little bit. Some of those loose flyaways, thinner details coming in and cutting across. Let's add some more contrast here in the middle of her braid. And on this edge here, I think that will help as well. Create a bit more contrast. I'd never done a portrait. I done one pencil about 10 years ago and it was okay. I'd join the live stream even if you did math equations with your new inks. It's all about the company. The drawing is extra. Well, thank you, Shiny. I appreciate that. Would wet in wet lend a smoother skin? Well, I tried that a little bit, but I think these inks actually tend to dry a bit quicker than what watercolors would. I don't have any experience with watercolors, but I feel like these inks dry really quick. Like the paper itself is still a bit wet when I use it, but the pigment just feels like I don't have a lot of room or time to do a wet into wet. But I think that there's some potential there for the wet into wet kind of technique. But Yeah, I feel like I'm miles away from achieving that at the moment. Try to add in just a bit more contrast into the lines here. Yeah, if I could just get the skin to be smoother, if I could figure out how to get the colors themselves to be smoother, I feel like I could maybe work with this a little bit. Because I think that's what's kind of taking this and not making it, not letting it look as good as it maybe potentially could, is if the skin could just be a bit softer. I'll try a little bit more layering on the skin and see if I can't get something to happen there. I'm going to take a touch of red, a little bit of red. And let's add some water to that. Alright, let's see what this red color looks like. That has way too much brown in it still. How does it feel live streaming after a little break from Inktober? Well, first off, hello, Anna. I did not see you in the chat till now. It feels good. Feels good to be back, chatting with all of you lovely people. I've missed it. I've missed it. It just feels good to be back. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna add some of this red here. See if some of this pink, this different shade of skin tone might help smooth out the skin. Have to sit here and wait for it to dry a little bit too. Hopefully by the time I call it quits for today, I'd have made something that I'm not entirely embarrassed about. I kind of like the hair though, so I at least have the hair. I still need to finish her shirt. Just came back, so I don't know if you already told people what have you been doing these couple of days now that you've had so much free time. So much free time. That's a good one, Anna. Yeah, that's a good one. Free time. I don't even know what free time feels like. I've been frantically searching for a portrait course. I've been scheduling live streams. I've been, just constantly working. just planning stuff. Um, Although I am managing to try to force myself to take a little bit of a break from work, because this weekend, this coming weekend, my wife and I are going down to Prague to see Intervals, and I'm super excited to finally go somewhere and do something. So I have that going for me at the very least. So as far as free time, that's going to be the extent of it. But yeah, that's about all I got. I feel like it kind of smoothed out a little bit. Am I wrong there? Am I wrong about that smoothing out? You guys have to let me know if it appears as though things got a bit softer in the features that I was trying to create here. I feel like that red helped kind of bring the colors together and also do a little bit of smoothing. I'm trying to take less of my color, so I'm drying off my brush now, trying to take a little bit less of my color and seeing if I can't get a little bit of a softer look to the features in her face and her skin. But part of me thinks that I did blend it a little bit. Yeah, entrepreneurs don't have free time. That's so true. So true. Yeah, any free time, usually just maybe a bit of TV with my wife, uh, or making food, doing the dishes, trying to keep up with house chores, some of the house chores a little bit. Inktober destroyed any sense of free time, so I forget what it feels like for the most part. Uh, but it's kind of coming back to me a little bit. I'm trying to slow down a little bit, and maybe not force myself to make as much content, because I have like endless ideas, and I'm always trying to reach that next level. Hopefully, each time I'm hoping that the next project is the project that I need uh, to share, that will get me, the views, the new subscribers, or whatever it takes to be successful. You need a small vacation like that. Well, I really wanted it to be a vacation. Oh gosh, when I found out, I was so frustrated. So, my plan was my plan was to take a few days, and go down to Prague, is stay at least one full day so that we could just walk around and explore Prague. Uh, but Anna is not able to take off Friday or Monday, so we have no options. So the trip went from something being really exciting to something that was actually just another irritating thing, because I'm super excited to go see Intervals, Polyphia and Nick Johnson. But since Anna wasn't able to take off the days from work, either Friday or Monday, we can only go down. We have to take the 4.5 hour train ride to Prague, watch the show, go to sleep, wake up, take the 4.5 hour train ride back. So we basically don't get any time in Prague at all, with the exception of seeing the concert. And even seeing the concert, we have to rush a little bit because as soon as we get off the train, we have to run over to our hotel, unpack our stuff or whatever, drop our stuff off, and then run over to the venue for the concert. We barely get any time in between to get food or go to the bathroom, and so it's somewhat frustrating just in that manner, and then of course we don't even get to spend any time in Prague. So it didn't quite work out as I would have liked it to, but I'm sure that it will still be really fun. I'm still really excited to see a few of the bands that I really, really like. So there is that. Why not go Friday night after she gets off work? The problem is the train schedule. Speaking of food, I've been trying to eat healthier, and I, for one, for the first time, bought and cooked and ate spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is very good. Yeah, spaghetti squash is good. I haven't had it in quite some time. I'm not sure if I can find it here in Poland. Yeah, Anna also mentioned going down a little bit early Friday, but the thing that I have against it is that we'd have to spend more on the hotel to get nothing out of it, other than, that morning or whatever. I don't know. We still have time. Well, actually, no. I already booked the hotel, so yeah, the hotel is finalized, and once I found out that she couldn't take the day off, it was just frustrating, to say the least. But it's fine. It's fine. And of course, as far as work goes, I'll still be taking video, still be making a vlog of the trip and recording and stuff. So in a way, it's not even a vacation from work either, because everything I do gets recorded. I think it started to come together a little bit. It did start to get smoother for the skin, so not as bad in that regard. I'm going to try taking a little bit more of my lighter skin tone color and maybe toning down a few of the spots with it. Under her neck here, maybe where I don't want it to be as highlighted. I found that if I control how much I have on the brush, like if I'm tapping my brush on a little paper towel to dry it off before I start brushing on the paper, and I feel like it's given me a lot more control, whereas earlier I wasn't doing that. I was just going straight from the watery ink to the paper. I feel like this has given me a whole new level of control, so that's something that I'll have to remember in the future when I when I try this again, because I would like to get good at it. Let's see here. Looks amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely a workaholic. I think I get that from my dad. My dad is like going on 70 and he works every day of the week since he was like 11 years old. There's only one time in my life that I can remember my dad not working, and it was literally because he had pneumonia in the hospital. But that's about the only time I can remember him not working. I think I get a little bit of that drive from him. It's really coming together. Gotta go catch some sleep, but I'm looking forward to the final piece. Oh, thank you, Coffee Cat. I'm glad you've hung around and enjoyed it. You have a good night. I'm learning that I need to be a bit more, I guess, slow, a bit more patient with this ink, instead of trying to throw it down really fast. Just try to take it slower, I guess. Let the ink dry, let the colors go on a bit slower and smoother, and I think that I can come up with something better, or come out with like a better result if I just maybe not force the color down so fast. Give it a chance to blend and be smoother. All right, let's take some red. I just woke up. This is great. How is the acrylic ink different than, say, Indian ink? I think the difference, now you can't quote me on this because I'm actually not 100% certain. I think it's just like what the pigment is mixed with. You know, there's Indian ink is kind of just straight black ink. But I'm not certain what the true difference is for the inks here. So I don't want to say anything and then be totally wrong. If anybody in the chats knows what the difference is between the Indian inks and the acrylic inks, feel free to let me know. Let the chat know as well, because I actually have really no idea. I think, I mean, if I were to guess, I would say that the Indian ink is alcohol based. So the ink is mixed with like an alcohol solution so that it dries really fast, whereas these acrylic inks tend to be more water based, I think. That's my best guess, but don't quote me on that. I just can't say for sure. This is so cool. Have to go get some sleep. Okay, Chrissy, you take care. Yeah, go take care of your puppy. let's grab a detail brush here. How am I feeling after Inktober? You know, I'm still a bit tired, to be honest with you. Still a bit exhausted. I haven't quite been relaxing. The day after Inktober, I was already working and live streaming on over on Patreon. I've done a few live streams on Patreon already immediately after Inktober, so there wasn't a whole lot of resting or anything that resembled resting. So yeah, it's just still a bit tired. Haven't slowed down at all. In fact, I probably sped up. Oh goodness. Let's see. The blue behind her makes me think of crashing waves. I could add some white ink to it. Maybe bring that out a little bit more. The difference is the binder. Acrylic ink has sort of a plastic binder. Indian ink has shellac as binder, which is in a solution of alcohol. Yeah, so kind of what I was thinking based on assumption. You're still drawing daily. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I've still been drawing daily as well. Pretty much. Trying to think of, well, I don't know if I drew yesterday. Yeah, I can't say I drew yesterday, but I've been working daily, that's for sure. She already had a whole... Well, I must be missing something there. I'm not going to read the rest of that. It's looking good? Oh, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear that it's starting to look good, because there was a whole lot of ugly going on for a long time. I thought you guys might be losing faith in my ability to make decent looking stuff. I think there's plenty of room for improvement. I certainly have learned quite a bit with this this attempt here. First things first, I don't have to use a whole lot of I don't have to use a whole lot of the ink on the brush. I can dry it and kind of essentially a dry brushing technique to get a little bit smoother consistency between my colors. That seems to be something that I should remember for sure. for future pieces. I'm going to add a little bit of this blue to her eye. Let's add some color. But other than that, yeah, just yeah, I think that brings her eyes out a little bit better. Definitely need to take my time a bit more on these pieces here, because the ink, yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, this is a tough one for sure. I think I'm gonna call it done here in a second. I'm gonna take some of this dark ink and just make a mess on my table. Yay, I can't wait to clean this up. Nothing like paint splatter to make a piece look better. And my finger's all inky. I'm glad you added pink. I thought it needed pink to warm it up. Yeah, I agree. I think it needed some pink as well. Let me see here. I'm going to take a bit more of this pink. Let me clean my brush out. I'm going to take some of the pink and put it on her lips. Give her some pink lips. And there's no pink there. Just a little bit. Just a tiny indication of pink. Probably can't even tell. What else can I do here? Let's just add some circles. I don't know why. Just add a few circles for some detail, texture, and some dots to make it look more like water. Circles and dots. And I think, let me outline her. I am going to outline her in white. Let's see if that does anything to help bring her out off the page a little bit better. And maybe make the contrast between her and the background just a tiny bit sharper. Because I think that's what's missing with this piece, is that the contrast is not as sharp as I think it could be. And if I just maybe took like 5 extra minutes for doing the outline of the background, then it may have been contrasted a little bit better. But instead, I'm going to use this white gel pen to bring out that contrast a bit. Definitely still have plenty of room for improvement here in the future. I'll incorporate what I learned today for any future inkings. Maybe I'll just keep playing with this ink stuff because I kind of like it. And next drawing journal, I will use it again. And try to take my time a bit more, and I'll try to plan it out so I'm not doing something so difficult, because this is kind of my real first attempt at using this ink, and maybe I probably didn't choose the easiest project to try to do. I mean, we're going right into using the inks to do skin colors and getting smooth transition between colors. Maybe I need to work on just an inanimate object that I can maybe start to figure out how to get the blending a bit better, a bit smoother, more consistent. You know what I mean? Sure you do. Let's add some little flyaways for her hair here in white. I think that works a little bit. I'm gonna add some white on her nose there. I feel like her nose needs to be highlighted. There. White outline made a world of difference. Good, good, good. Yes. I think I'm even gonna use a little bit of black ink right around her face. Maybe just like right here. Try to strengthen her jaw. Contrast away from her neck, because her chin is just a little bit lost there, and I think it just needs a little separation from the rest of the picture. I probably could have done this with now we'll add some flyaways with the black. There, just a bit more texture in her hair. There. I don't want to add too much. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Maybe I'll draw in her mouth. Maybe a nostril or two. Oh, making a mess over here. Let's see. Anything else I can do? I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. It kind of looks cool. It kind of looks cool. It just turned out well. I like it. You don't have to produce always masterpieces. You do it often enough. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think so. But anyway, yeah, there's a final look. Let me zoom out. You guys have a little bit of a disadvantage because you look at it basically like right up against your face, whereas you're seeing a bunch of stuff, artifacts and things that really don't show up if you just look at it like a normal human being. But hopefully you guys like it a little bit, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today's drawing journal. I don't really have any closing thoughts. Ink is definitely a fun medium. I have a lot of learning to do for sure, which is exciting because anytime you start a new medium, there's always that learning curve you got to get past. And I don't do a lot with brushes. I haven't painted in a while, so getting into inks kind of gives me the option, a better option than using my acrylic paints, because I have dig all the paints out, and it's a little bit more of a hassle to clean up. Although now I have to clean up my desk because I splattered ink all over the place. And my wife did just clean my keyboard, and now there's ink all over it. She's gonna love that. But anyways, I hope you guys had fun, and I look forward to next week. So I'll be streaming next week, probably Monday, most likely Monday. I try to keep the drawing journals every Monday. But I might actually change it to Tuesdays because I have Polish class tonight. I just yeah, I have to get the study in a little bit before I go. And I think I'm going to change it to Tuesdays. That way I can start the live stream a little bit later. But anyways, you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.